Hi guys, hope you're all doing well today. It's a Dutch House and Monty Shit Show. I've got a lunch break from college today, so I've come up to one of my favourite places near where I live. It's called the South Downs National Trust Park. To us locals, we call it High Down Hill. But I've come here today really just to kind of take in everything that's happened over the last week. This time last week, we'd only just got word through the British media that the Queen was seriously ill. Obviously, we knew that that was not a good sign. If the media are putting that out there, if the palace are issuing statements, then you know things are not going to go well. And unfortunately, those words were all borne out, and here we are, almost a week later. And I don't know about you guys, but having sort of had a couple of days to really sort of sit back and take it in a little bit, what's happened, it's a lot. You know, in the last 10 days, we've had a new Prime Minister. Barely 2 days after that, our wonderful monarch has died, and then straight after that we are straight into the reign of King Charles, and everything is just moving at such a quick pace. The media here is just saturated, as you would expect. 24 hours a day coverage of the Queen and the royal family, tribute programmes, wonderful tribute programmes by the way. You know, YouTube, or certainly my YouTube, is full of other content creators like myself talking about the Queen and the royal family and the funeral and what's to come. It's on the radio, it's on the news, you can't escape it. The only way you can escape it is to unplug, really, from the Matrix. The thing about death, and it's a really morbid subject to talk about, but I was thinking, the thing about death is it tends to bring out the best in people, but unfortunately it also brings out the worst in people, which is rather what we're seeing to some extent. Now, yesterday was, for me, probably the saddest day out of all the week since the Queen's been gone. Yesterday for me was the saddest day, and I'll tell you why. Because not only did we have the procession, the Queen's coffin obviously was moved on gun carriage from Buckingham Palace to Westminster Hall, where she is lying in state now until Monday morning. But obviously what followed on from that, and the Duchess of deceit, the Duchess of disappointment, the Duchess of smirking. Now, I have my own views on that, and I will share them at some point, but right now emotions are running far too raw, tensions are high. I've seen it on my channel, I've seen it on other channels, I've seen it on social media. There will be time to talk about all that, but for me now's not that time. But what I do want to talk about is, as I've said, death tends to bring out the worst in people. And I'm particularly seeing in the media, certainly in this country, we are being bombarded with stories, puff PR. You don't know what to believe. You get stories at the moment for the King, against the King, for the Queen, against the Queen, for Meghan and Harry, against Meghan and Harry. And it really is a case of sifting, wading all through the crap, because the truth will be in there somewhere. You just have to read between the lines. But a couple of things that I have seen in the past couple of days made me very uncomfortable. The New York Post, a couple of days ago, or perhaps it was yesterday, put out an article. I was linked to it on Twitter by one of my followers, and they'd printed an article slating King Charles. Now, as you all know, I'm not his biggest fan. I'm growing to like him though, I have to say. So far in the week since he's been our king. Nothing has really raised any red flags with him so far with me, nor with Camilla, and I'm definitely not her biggest fan. So, but some people, when people are down, some energy vampires, some oxymorons, they like to twist the knife in just a little bit more. And we're definitely seeing that here in Britain at the moment from the American media, not the American people. I want to be very clear. The American media, to some extent. In the last 2 or 3 days, we've had the New York Post slating Charles because he had a tiny bit of a wobble over a leaky fountain pen. Have you ever tried writing with a fountain pen? They're bastards. They're very difficult to manage. But what people are not realising, or a certain minority of people are not realising, is the man is 73 years old. He's just lost his mother barely a week ago. The time the Queen took her last breath, he became king. He probably knew for some time that she was going, certainly well before we did. But you cannot, now I'm speaking from experience, you cannot ever truly prepare yourself for the death of your mother. I had a week's inkling. We were told on the Monday my mum was probably going to go, and she went on the Saturday. Wasn't ready for her to go at all. Not only has the man just lost his mum, he's now become king. King of the United Kingdom, head of the Commonwealth, defender of the faith. Those aren't just little things, they're huge things. I'm going to sit down because this hill's puffing me up. So he has taken on his 73-year-old shoulders, he's taken on huge responsibility, and you cannot imagine the pressure there must be on that poor man's shoulders. I don't even want to think about it, to be honest. He's surviving on barely no sleep at all. Since his mum passed, he's been all over the country. He's been to Scotland, back to London, to Northern Ireland, I believe. I think he's still possibly got to go to Wales before the funeral. The man is having meetings and security detail meetings, and you cannot imagine what that poor man is on a day-to-day basis at the moment is going through. It's a pressure cooker environment, and if he doesn't find a way constructively to release that pressure, yes, he will have a wobble over something as stupid as a fountain pen. I can't blame him at all, but I think it's highly unfair for the New York Post to then post an article over a non-story, basically. He just having a bit of a wobble about a pen, but now they're saying that he's a petulant prince and he has a temper and he's, shaping up to be a horrible, disgraceful monarch, and that is terribly unfair. Terribly unfair. The man has been 73 years in training for this role. How about you let him get on with it, and in a year's time you can look back and say, actually, yeah, he is a bit of a twit. Fair enough, but give him some time to settle into the role, please. So that was one thing that really irked me. And the other thing that's really irked me today has come out from the New York Times. Seeing a pattern here, people? The New York Times today as well. They've come out moaning that the Queen's funeral is going to cost millions upon millions of pounds, and it's all going to be state funded, so the British taxpayer are going to pay for it. Now, I tell you now, I'm going to move because some people are coming towards me and they're looking a bit dodgy. I tell you now, I would much rather, on any day of the week or the year, I would much rather my taxpayers' money go to the Queen's funeral and all the security detail and the the military and the pomp and circumstance that surrounds the state funeral, I would much rather my money go to that than the £32 million we wasted, if I'm being honest, on that spectacle of a wedding in 2018. Which we didn't even need, because apparently the Sharkles got married 3 days before in the back garden with the Archbishop of Canterbury. Yeah, that didn't happen. So now they're trying to whip up anger against the late Queen and King Charles because of money. Now, you may agree with me, you may not agree with me. You know, that's not my place to tell anyone what to think or feel. But I don't like it, to be honest. And I know a lot of my followers here who are American have been apologising to us. You don't need to apologise to us, guys. We know the majority of you all over the pond are decent, hard-working citizens with a mind of your own and are respectful. But your media, I have to say, you know, it's often said that the British media have a terrible reputation. I have to say, some of the outlets on your side are letting themselves down as well. And also, something else that's come out of Twitter today, and I don't know if I'm right in saying that this is connected to New York as well, but the cut, let's just make that clear, C-U-T magazine that featured the Duchess a couple of weeks ago when she was talking about all the nonsense about, you know, oh, I can't even remember, it's a lot's happened in a week. But the Cut magazine have been out in force again, slating Charles, slating the monarchy, really twisting the knife, digging it in as far as they can, twisting it. There's no need for it, guys. Yes, the UK right now and the Commonwealth, the UK is vulnerable right now. We're heartbroken, we're grieving, we're trying to adapt. This is no little thing that we're going through right now. So what we don't need are two-bit magazines, you know, publications which, quite frankly, I would buy just to wipe my arse on. No other reason. We don't need them swooping in with their vitriol while we're down and we're vulnerable. But we're down, but we're not out. That's the great thing about the British people. We go through knocks occasionally, every country does, but nobody, and I think you all have seen over the past week, it doesn't matter whether it's a happy occasion like a royal wedding or the saddest of occasions, state funeral. I think you can all agree that nobody does it quite like the British. You will have seen it at the Prince of Wales's, I was going to say the Duke of Cambridge and Cornwall, which technically still is. But see, we're struggling to adapt to what to call our royals now. So you saw the pomp and circumstance at Prince William's wedding. You saw it at Prick Harry's, who incidentally is 38 today, like I care. And obviously you saw it at the Platinum Jubilee. The British really know, in times of joy, times of sorrow, the British people come together. They do unite, which is the best thing. I'm proud to be British at a time like this, as sad as it is. Really proud to be British, because it doesn't matter who tries to attack us while we're down. Media, social media, really doesn't matter, because we will come back bigger and better than ever before. A lot of them are saying the monarchy will end once Queen Elizabeth dies. No, I can't speak for anyone else, but the general feeling that I'm getting from people that I'm talking to, the monarchy's only just beginning. The reign of King Charles III is only just beginning, and it's only going to get better from here on in. As long as, obviously, the Sharkles once they leave this country, hopefully in the next few days, as long as they get out, stay out, sit down, shut up, I think this country will do just fine. I really do. I really do. But obviously we just got to tough it out a few more days and a few more weeks, guys. But we'll get there. We always do. Just want to say thank you to you all, from anyone outside the UK, obviously especially in the Commonwealth, sending condolences to us in Britain. We're really going through it at the moment, as you can imagine. And like I said, it really doesn't help when the media are just kicking us when we're down. It doesn't help. But we're resilient, we're British, you know, British bulldogs and whatnot. And yeah, we'll make it. I believe in you guys. Anyway, I'm going to head back to the car because my lunch break is almost over. I've got to get back to college. So take care. If you're new to the channel, by the way, huge welcome. Please don't forget to like, share and subscribe and press the bell notification. And I will catch up with you guys really soon. Take care. Bye for now.